Brand new week of Village Vice is off and rolling. Auburn and Oklahoma Saturday, and we're talking press conference reaction and all manner of things today. He's Zach Blackerby. I'm Brad Law. The show is brought to you, as all episodes of Village Vice are, by mybookie.ag. Use promo code NEXTROUND. You're going to get a deposit bonus. I think they've still got this going. We haven't been told otherwise yet. They're going to double the initial deposit. That's wild. So, college football, NFL, Major League Baseball playoffs are coming up soon. We'll see if the Braves are there or not. Promo code next round, get a deposit bonus. So double that initial deposit when you use that promo code at mybookie.ag. Okay, Zach, it's Auburn can win the game Saturday, but we'll talk about that throughout the week. Hugh Freeze with his weekly press conference today.
Yeah.
Anything stand out to you from what the head coach had to say?
I think there should be something that it should excite Auburn fans, and I think it will excite the ones that are paying attention, and I think it might frustrate some of the others because there's a narrative that has taken off that I don't fully agree with. I see where people are coming from, but I don't fully agree with it. He's been remarkably consistent with saying we trust the scheme, we trust the plan, we trust the the projection of where this program is headed. But we are missing some things, and there are a few position groups that aren't doing everything that's asked of them, and some of those position groups are being hindered because it's a tougher position group to play. When you talk about the quarterback, or when you talk about corners and defensive backs specifically, they're just so thin, and so the rotation's not quite the same, and some guys are probably playing more at this point of the season than this coaching staff would like. But Freeze has been remarkably consistent with all of this. And the same folks that are saying that, hey, Freeze is throwing these players under the bus are the same folks that call coaches out for coach speak and all of that. I think he's being honest. Whenever he's critical of the quarterbacks or the running backs not holding onto the football, he adds the line after that. It's like, and we've got to coach it better. That's on us. And that seems to be being left out consistently with some of the Hugh Freeze haters, which he probably picked up a few over the last few weeks after the losses to Cal and Arkansas. Yeah. But they always want to leave some of that out for some reason.
Yeah, and that's not a new thing either. Like, it would be alarming if that just started as a reaction to some of this talk, but that's been happened. That happened after the Cal game. It happened.
Agreed.
It happened last year after mistakes were made. I mean, this is not a new thing. I thought, in particular, if you go back and watch it around the 7-minute mark, he gives an answer that includes accountability for both. He talks about play calling. He talks about coaching things better. And then he says, and also, if the guys are able to, lay out exactly why things happen, then, maybe we have to ask more out of players. And that is correct. That's right. Everybody has a part to play, and everybody can be accountable when you're a part of an organization. And I don't think that that's new. I don't think that's different. I think that's exactly what he has always said in the message. We're just having to hear the message too often because there are too many mistakes.
Yeah, and there's not some glaring situation where it fixes itself. The message is still exactly that. It's the message, probably not only just to his team, but definitely to the media and what he's talking about every single Monday. So what do you do from here? You got to figure out how to limit those turnovers, which I don't think it's that complex of an issue. Take care of the football and you win the 2 games that you've lost so far this year. You got to figure it out. And there are different ways to achieve that. One is you make sure these quarterbacks are more careful with the football. But also, I do think there is some stuff scheme-wise that they can do to make it easier on these quarterbacks. It's not like Auburn hasn't been able to run the football. And some of that has to do with the RPOs and the checks and all that. But I do think you need to go with more design run plays moving forward, put more of the load and the burden on Jarquez Hunter, figure out a way to get Jeremiah Cobb more touches. If you trust Damari Austin to take care of the football, give him a larger load. But I understand why you may be hesitant to do that right now because he can't hold on to the football. But to me, there are things that they can do, Brad, but you've got to figure it out. Turnovers. That's what this week needs to be when you talk about Oklahoma.
Nobody in the history of the world ever made a decision that they thought was going to end up disastrous, that they thought was going to end up as anything other than good. I mean, nobody ever in any world ever made a decision that they thought wasn't the right decision. So, to your point, are the quarterbacks taking too big of risks? Are they making decisions? They go, I'm going to make this throw and it's going to be caught. Are they going, I just got to get rid of it? Is it the right read like that? Yeah. And maybe simplifying. So I had a thought yesterday. It was kind of a scary thought.
Whoa, hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
You just put those glasses on.
Yeah, I'm going to read something that I have on my phone.
This is about to be pretty good. I can tell.
My thought yesterday was, and I said this with Taylor on our Sunday show, was
sure,
if your quarterbacks are turning it over at a high rate and your running backs are fumbling every 16 carries on average, that's scary, because where do you have faith? What do you do if your quarterbacks are going to throw an interception every 10 passes and your running backs are going to fumble every 16 carries? You can't say I'm going to run it 48 times, because then you're going to fumble 3 times. Right. All right. A little deep dive into these numbers a little more closely.
Okay.
And here's what you have. Jarquez Hunter in his career has 451 career touches and 3 lost fumbles. 3 lost fumbles in 451 touches. It means you could give him 30 touches a game and it'd take 5 games before he's on his average of 1 lost fumble.
And 2 of those are against Cal. So
correct.
If you modify that, like not against Cal, it's even better.
Did he lose 2 against Cal, or did he just have 1 lost against Cal?
He had 1 loss this year.
Oh, last year.
And then 1 last year.
Yep. Got it. So 1 lost fumble against an opponent that's not Cal.
Right.
Ever. Frickin' ever. All right. Damari Alston, 108 career touches, 3 lost fumbles. That's a little more concerning. That is
concerning. Yeah.
That's not to throw a guy under a bus. That's just a little concern. Jeremiah Cobb, 53 career touches, 0 lost fumbles. Now you got a little more ground to stand on if you want to lean on if you want to feel, not that you make your decisions based on feelings, but if you want to feel a little more certain or confident about giving the ball to your all SEC tailback a little more, you can use that as your reasoning.
I think, yeah. And I think what Travis Williams did, the Arkansas defensive coordinator, which does hurt a little bit to say, what he did on Saturday, the plan was, all right, we're gonna load the box. So in RPO situations, the quarterback keeps it and throws the football. We're gonna make the quarterback beat us, not Jarquez Hunter, Damari Alston, Jeremiah Cobb, whoever's at running back.
Yeah.
And the plan wasn't perfect because guys were open, and if the quarterbacks executed consistently and didn't turn the football over, or even threw incomplete passes instead of picks, Auburn does win that game. But if you're Oklahoma, how do you not have that exact same game plan? Yeah. We're gonna make you throw it and have to and either run into a loaded box, which I do think we're avoiding a little too much. Jarquez Hunter's been running into a loaded box his entire college career, and it's been pretty effective. So that's not the end all be all. I understand it. I understand the RPO, yada, yada, yada. Don't get at me in the comments. But if I'm Oklahoma, I'm copying what Arkansas did. And I'm saying, yes, we're going to allow guys to be open, but we don't think you're going to be able to find them.
Yeah.
And until they do that consistently, I don't know why you would attack this Auburn offense any other way.
And they've been good about it. And Coach Freeze mentioned in the presser today, they've given up 1 run of more than 10 yards, and that was on a reverse.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
They've really now, they're containing the running backs at Tulane and Houston, and those teams aren't off to very good starts, and Temple in game number 1. But, they have talented dudes at linebacker and at defensive line. So I agree. I think that's the template. And until Auburn can hold on to the ball, they're moving it effectively. To go back to the point about not changing much about the scheme and not changing your identity. They had 100 more yards on 20 fewer plays than Arkansas. 100 more yards on 20 fewer plays. If you have the same amount of yardage on 20 total plays, that's great. If you have 100 more yards on the same number of plays, that's great. But 100 more yards on 20 fewer plays, it's maddening that you lose that game. That was more of a winnable game maybe than Cal even.
Yeah, going into it, I said Cal was the better team than Arkansas. I think that they're close. They're certainly close, but That's what's so frustrating. And I made some comments somewhere else about how like I still think Arkansas is the better, or Auburn is the better roster than Arkansas. And it's like, well, name all the position groups where Auburn's better. And I'm like, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because they had 100 more yards on 20 less plays. It's just turnovers. And that goes down to, whether it's fluky or not by Damari Austin. And then, the picks thrown by Hank. And then I almost feel, I almost don't want to like credit Peyton with that pick, but it was an interception. But that was more on, I think, Cam Coleman than Peyton.
Yep.
But it's like, that's not like Arkansas did some things, especially on the ones against Hank, to like create some things, especially that first one. But it's not like Arkansas is just like way better than Auburn. Like I just don't think that's the case.
And it's not like Oklahoma is way better than Auburn either.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that.
Really?
I don't know if I'm ready to say that.
Okay.
Because of, like, what they do defensively is so good.
Yeah.
And I just think, Auburn's got to do everything they possibly can to make it ugly, to make it messy, to make it dirty. And
I think some of that'll happen though by proxy, because I don't think Oklahoma is that great offensively. They pulled their starter.
I agree.
Last week. Yeah.
So. I agree. But like, who do you trust more right now? Whoever starts at quarterback for Auburn or Jackson Arnold? Who do you trust more right now?
I don't think Jackson Arnold's going to start.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, they pulled him, and I think it'll be the other guy, if I had to guess. I know this, the Oklahoma people, I listened to the fourth quarter of I listened to their broadcast of the fourth quarter of the Tennessee game. They believe that the backup is going to get the start against Auburn.
That's wild.
So I don't think Jackson Arnold is going to start. I think it's an ugly.
That goes back to your point then. Big time.
Yeah. The winner is in the teens kind of game.
So, yeah. To me, this is a 17-13 football game.
Yeah.
And that could be anybody.
All right. I want to come back to this because I love this. We're going to come back after I tell you about Barner Supply Company. Check this hat right there. Look at that.
That's
such a good looking hat. You know what else is a good looking hat? That right there is a good looking hat.
That's a good looking hat.
BarnerSupply.com. Here's what you do. We had somebody from my office do this last week. He wanted to know more about it. I said, go to BarnerSupply.com. Check out I love that. Check out their gear. Check out their shirts, their hats, their stickers that you can put on anything, of course. Put it on your car, your water bottle, what have you. BarnerSupply.com. Pick a hat, pick a koozie, put them both in your cart. Use our promo code Village Vice, no spaces, just all together, Village Vice. The price of the koozie goes to $0, and you'll get both shipped straight to you. High quality products and honest, blue collar, hardworking Auburn people. Barner's making gear for Barner's at BarnerSupply.com.
I love that.
Neither team knows today who their starting quarterback is going to be Saturday. Coach Freeze in his presser today, so he thinks it's
fascinating.
It's Hank and Peyton battling out. Peyton had the highest PFF grade of any player, not between the quarterbacks, but of any Auburn player.
Right.
Looked bad on the first drive of the second half. Shockingly bad. But engineered a couple of scoring drives and threw a nice pass that KLS brought in with one hand. And, you certainly don't write off Hank because of one bad half in his first ever SEC game.
Sure. Right.
So, but do you throw him out there to start the next one? I don't know.
I don't know either. To me, like, the Oklahoma defense is so much better than anything they faced so far. Just kind of makes you a little hesitant to start Hank.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm just thinking from Hugh Freeze's point of view, and I hope he's not thinking this way, but I'm going to think this way. Like, starting Hank, if you lose, starting Hank is an easier thing to explain than starting Thorne.
Okay. But you're not going in, and this is why you said you're not going.
Yeah, he's not thinking this way.
Yeah, you're not going
thinking
in.
Like, what gives you the best chance to beat Oklahoma on Saturday? We're media. We can think about this game whatever we want. And like, I mean, the whole time it's like, okay, Auburn's 2-2, and like, I don't see them getting to a bowl game at this point. You and I have not had this conversation yet.
No, we haven't.
But if you do that, like, why why focus on the guys that are going to be gone next year if you're talking about the quarterback position? And that's kind of my thought process of like, let's throw Hank out there and see what he's got, but who gives you the better chance to win against Oklahoma on Saturday? Like, that's a tough question. That's a tough question to answer.
We haven't had the conversation, but I'll echo the quick point that I made with Taylor yesterday, and that is I have kind of decided from this point on not to project a final record for the season, because doggone, week 1 had nothing to do with week 2. Week 2 had nothing to do with week 3. 3 had nothing to do with 4. I don't think 4 has anything to do with 5, and I don't think Auburn.
But week 1 had a lot to do with week 3, and week 2 had a lot to do with week 4 because those were similar leveled opponents. Where when Auburn plays somebody that like they're way more talented than, it looked like it. When Auburn played somebody that's on the same playing field, it looked bad.
Yeah.
So like while 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and 3 to 4 look different, I think from like I think the similar level of opponent was pretty consistent. Like Auburn dominated Alabama A&M and New Mexico. They really struggled at taking care of the football against the other two. So where does Oklahoma fit in? Oklahoma's better than all of these teams. And so to me, I think it probably might be similar to last week, unless you do something different and you take care of the football.
Which obviously you're trying to do. I mean, the result is that, boy, if this first month of the season isn't proof that it is really all about the record, it's not about how you look otherwise. It's all about the record, and always has been. It's just we like to talk like it's not that way.
No, this is a results-based business.
Yep.
That's what Hugh Freeze said after the game.
That's what he said again today.
Yeah. I mean, it's a results-based business. And it's like you can outgain your opponent by 100 yards on 20 less plays.
Yeah.
But you lost. You lost, and that's all that people really care about.
To finish the point, but before we talk about that sharp hoodie that you have on there, I myself, and I'm not telling anybody else what to do, but I think so much of our frustration and rage and anger and demand for answers and all of this comes from expectations. And I think most of us watching or talking right now expected Auburn to be 4-0 going into the Oklahoma game.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're 2-2 is based on that expectation. I'm not going to set an expectation for the rest of the year because this team is still trying to figure out, can it not turn the ball? I'm not going to project 4 turnovers a game in every SEC game. I think that's an illogical projection. So I'm going to go Oklahoma this week, and then Georgia next week, and then just kind of figure it out one game at a time going forward. So we'll have a much better idea in November what the bowl projections are. At this point, they better not be worried about bowl projections or postseason or anything else. It's Oklahoma and nothing else.
Yeah. And once again, like the folks on the staff and in the locker room, they can focus on Oklahoma.
Yep.
We don't have to suit up and play the game. We can have the conversation that the fans are thinking and talking about it. And right now, I just don't see a path to 6 wins. But gosh, I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, I see the path. The path's clear. The path is very clear. Don't turn the ball over. That's a clear path and a wide path. It's not a narrow path. It's not a stretch. It's a very clear path. Hang on to the ball. How do you do that? That's coming up after this about Roback.
How do you do that against tougher opponents? Yeah, you pointed out this hoodie. It's my favorite hoodie. It's a Roback hoodie. You can get it at roback.com, RHOBACK.com. They've got a bunch of hoodies, a bunch of shorts and pants, and the most comfortable collared shirts that you'll ever wear, and you'll look dang good doing it. Dang good doing it. Go to roback.com, check out their incredible catalog. They've got so much stuff, so many different patterns. It's fun just to browse through everything they've got going on, as well as some game day collection stuff with Auburn. They've got a bunch of Auburn swag there too. So we don't want you to pay full price for it. Use our promo code VICE20, VICE20, VICE20 to get 20% off your order. The 2 times I've ordered there, they've got like a default code in there. So be sure to remove the default one and add VICE20 once you support the show to your discount is going to be a little bit better as well. That's at roback.com. Use promo code VICE20.
I think, Zach, and I'm not totally comfortable calling out lack of discipline stuff because I got a lot of areas in my life that I'm not disciplined, that I'd like to be more disciplined.
Sure.
And I don't think it's fair as a fan to demand something from others that you don't demand of yourself. So I'm not just banging on the wall talking about discipline. I do think that it's like the two penalties on 3 and outs that extended those drives by a total of 20 plays are as important, if not more important, than the turnovers to me.
Yeah, especially the Austin Keys one, where he was called roughing the passer.
Yeah.
Should that have been called roughing the passer? I don't know. And I really don't care to have that conversation because Austin Keys has played a lot of college football.
Yep.
And he knows that it could be called roughing the passer. And so there's just no reason to touch him.
Nope.
There's no reason to touch him at all. There's people saying about momentum and all that. It's like, no.
He's clearly out of bounds throwing the ball away.
Yeah, it's like you stuck your hands out and you made contact. Did you shove them as hard as it looked or anything like that? I don't think so. But you extended your arms out and you pushed them, and it's going to look bad. And a ref has the chance to call that every single time. They're not going to call it every time, especially against a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
But they can call it, and he has to know that as a defender who's played college football for several seasons. So that one I don't like. The Antonio Kite one, I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I have a hard time looking at that one more than the Austin Keys one.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that was pivotal because at that point, don't you feel like Sam Pittman got in Petrino's headset and said, "Brother, if you call another pass, I'm running you out of town. Do not call another pass. Our smallest running back is 230 pounds. Run the dang ball, Bert." Like that had to be what was said at that point. Now, why I come back to the Keys late hit penalty? It added 10 plays to the possession. They had the ball 11 and a half minutes in the first quarter. 11 and a half.
It's wild. That's hard to do.
That's too many minutes. There's too many minutes, too many extra plays for the defense. And it allows, when you stack that up at the end of the game, it allows Arkansas to run it 10 straight times and finish the game off, essentially, at that point. So, I say all that to say that discipline is something that I think the players have to demand of each other. It's one thing for the coaches to demand it. I think that's a locker room. That's your senior leaders on the team, the culture council and all those guys.
Yeah.
There kind of comes a point where those guys have to get an edge to them and a determination and say, look, we will not do things like this.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't a team though that's like penalized that. There were 3 penalties in this game. Yeah. We talked about 2 of them. The other was Mike O'Reilly holding on a kick return. Like, it's not like this is some team that's caught holding all the time or offsides all the time or, being super grabby when the ball's in the air. Like, that's not who this team is. It's just the timing of them were brutal. It was brutal.
And there's no way to know when one of those plays, though, whether it's 1 penalty, 3 or 8, there's no way to know when one of those penalties is going to lead to something really brutal. We had no way to know in the first quarter that late hit was going to turn into such a pivotal thing, which is why, though, but that is discipline, is you do it the right way every time. And even once or twice is too many. And again, I kind of go back to, that's a locker room thing. You've been in locker room. We've been in locker rooms where, this is a huge senior class. It's not that many juniors and sophomores. I don't think it's fair for the freshmen to be given that task. If you have a big senior class, then those are the ones who go, guys, this is it for us. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to go out. We're not going to go out fumbling and throwing picks and getting penalties and that kind of thing. And developing the kind of edge and intensity that leads to not having those mistakes. Because they run drills, they go through film, that, these are not turnovers that happen because guys are not prepared.
Yeah.
Or don't ever work on stuff, and they're not trying to turn the ball over. So where does it come from? You have that answer, you'd be a millionaire helping coaches all over the country.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, some of the way we talk about this, or the way I feel we've talked about this, does change a little bit now that these kids are professionals, where it's like it is your job. Like, you are getting paid to take care of the football.
Yeah.
You are getting paid and recruited from elsewhere to hold on to the football and to score touchdowns. So to me, like, I do think it's okay to ask for some things in a different way than we used to.
Sure.
We being us, not the coaching staff. The coaching staff's going to demand the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the nature of it. But
yeah.
No, I agree with it. They got to fix that, and they got to fix it quickly. And they've got a good defense coming into town. What, 2:30?
2:30
on Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
By the way, and Georgia's going to be 2:32. We know that now. Back-to-back ABC, which, all right. Why did we have a 6-day hold to find out that Oklahoma was going to be 2:30 on ABC? We both lost.
I don't know.
If ABC is the top window, why?
It's the second window, right? Because the new window is the 6 o'clock.
Well, but what I mean is, of the games that they were trying to decide, they were all 2:30. It was 2:30 ABC, 2:30 ESPN, or 3:15 SEC Network. So what did the results of the games Saturday have to do with those selections? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe they were waiting for something else on one of the other games. I don't know.
I mean, but what I'm saying, ABC, of those three, ABC is your first game, so they chose Auburn, Oklahoma anyway. Would that have changed if Oklahoma had won? Or if Auburn had won?
Probably not.
I don't get it. But I complain about them too much already, I guess. So
I like it when you complain about things. It gets me fired up.
I'll end the complaint there.
Well, that does it for today's show then. If you're done complaining, the show is over.
Hey, if you want to complain, go to thebarnauburn.com. Check out everything that's happening there. It costs just $1 to change to try it out for a month.
Yep.
$1. Can't you? I mean, you can do that.
Come on.
Of course, that's the way we hook you, because once you get there, you're going to love it.
You ain't leaving.
That's right. So check it out, thebarnauburn.com. Thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting on the video. Can't wait to read them. And remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.